B'Torah Ohr, Parshas Yisro, B'Bir, Zachor v'Shamor. Torah Ohr in Yisro, an explanation of remember and guard that are in the Aseret Dibros, B'Dibur Echad, and how they were said together as one Dibur. K'dei lahamshich hamshach hazu mechachma bina. So this is just in continuation of the idea that Ohr and Simcha are one concept, or that Chochmah and Bina train rein lamis farshin. How so? Possibly these are two concepts of Chochmah and Bina, Zachor and Shamar, and how they're together as one. Or it's similar to the idea of how the legs of the Mehalchim are as one. Regularly shut up. In order to draw this down from wisdom and understanding. So this is through the Mehalchim standing in a state of nullification specifically. And this is the idea that the fiery angels stand above him. And it's explained in another place that what does it mean above him? That is higher than the concept of vav. Mimal levav shuhu amidos, which are the emotional attributes, that the shrafim are higher than the midos, meaning they reach to chokhmah bina. Bibir al pasuk v'niktashti b'soch b'nei Yisrael. An explanation of that I will be sanctified amongst Bnei Israel, v'zeu inyan omdim k'dechora l'kaim b'chelei, and this is the concept of standing like a male who stands with his strength, a masculine aspect. L'chein ein lahem kafitzin, therefore they don't have these joints. Because the three parts of the leg are correspond with three levels, one below the other. That is the Chabad Chagas and Nihi of Nihi, that the legs are correspond with Nihi. And they also correspond with the lower three worlds of B'Yeh, Yitzir, and Asiyah, which is the concept of the legs, like Raglei HaYordos. And the division between these levels, that's the concept of the bending over of the leg, of Al Bebechinas Amida, but in the concept of standing, Hainu Shekulam B'Yuchud Echad, that is that they're all in one unity. Shebechinas Biyah Miskalalim Zeim Zeh, that the concept of the worlds of B'Yeh Yitzir and Asiyah or get included within one another. That's the concept of standing. That there's no division between the lower worlds. It's a concept of Yichud. Yichud of the Mehalchim. Uvegambes raglayim mechuvanin, also two legs that are with intention to put them in the proper place, or together, or according to the Perish, that the two legs together is the Amida and not just the Kfitzin. Hakol hiskalalus u'betul. It's all the same idea of inclusion and nullification and so forth. And through this we draw into Zerampin, which is the concept of the 500 years, from the concept of wisdom and understanding, Chochmah Bina, into Zah, So that's Tafkuf Tesvav again. The Tesvav from Chochmah Bina into the Tafkuf of the Shamayim of Zah. And so that's the regular Yeshara v'Nikra Yeshara Shemamshich im Hagiloi Lihiyos Lamata Balma Diskalya, that we draw down the revelation to be in the lower world, in the revealed world, Kamo Balma Diskasya, just like in the hidden world. The Mahal, as you go, the so to speak, the Mahalch Tafkuf Tesvav Shanim, to bring from Chochmah Bina to the Shamayim, from the hidden world to the revealed. That's the concept of Yeshara. Maybe there's also a concept of the Or Yosher, Gabi Or Choser. Yeshara. Anyway, so that's the concept of that it's Yosher, that you draw down from one place to the other. Torah or Parshas Yisro, Shamevor, Shavudasam, Lahalos, Bechinas Temus Adam Shalakise, Lebechinas Kilo Adam Hu. And in Parshas Yisro, it's explained there that their service was to elevate the concept of the likeness of man that's on the throne, to elevate it to the concept of that he's not a man, beyond the concept of Adam. Kol kavana achas, and it's all one intention, just with like the same Pirush we had before, like mimalo, and above the shamayim, above the regular Yeshara, that's Tafkuf Shana. And that's the avodah of the Malachim. Vim kol zeh nikra b'china umdim b'madreg achas. But this kind of Giloi of Chochmah Bina into Midos, the elevation of the Adam to the L'mayla min Adam, it's all one thing. It's still called Omdim. It's still called standing. B'madrega achas, in one level. And the concept is K'mo shekasuv sham sheishnei minei zivugim baba v'ima. Like it's brought over there that there's two types of unions with the mother and the father. Zivug chitzonius, zivugayu tadir, trein rein la misfarshin. That you have this external union, and so there, that union between Chochmah Bina is constant. Yeah, these two friends that do not separate. Shuhu l'kiyum ha'olamos ma'in liyesh. That union is for this constant creation of the worlds from nothing to something. V'amshach hazuba michochma atzma. And drawing this down comes from wisdom itself. Hanum ha'aras oin sof mashmelubish b'chochma. That is from the light of the Ein Sof, that which is enclosed in Chochmah. Sheyesh b'koach ha'razu lahachios kol ha'olamos. That there is within this light, this glimmer, that's within Chochmah to enliven all the worlds. V'zu nimshach al yidei Malachim, and that's what's drawn through the Malachim. As their, so to speak, omdim. Ach zivug pnimi lahamshich or chadash mama shor shunim shech marichan pin va'atik. However, the inner union of wisdom and understanding of Chochmah Bina lahamshich or chadash mamash, to draw down a new light, shor shunim shech marichan pin va'atik. Its source is in arichanatik ad ein sof mamash, until the infinite truly. V'nekra yichud pnimi daba ve'ima lechadesh haneshamos. And it's called an inner union of the mother and father to renew the souls. So it's more shaykh to neshamos instead of malachim, whereas the zivug chitzoni is for malachim. zivug primis for neshamos v'uanim shechal yidei neshamos hatzadikim davka. And this is drawn down specifically through the souls of the tzadikim. Specifically, so Mustamadinian that the neshamos are makdim kadosh. That is because the source of the neshamos are in chachma, that's above bina, v'yesod abba, that the chashmal is makif of bina, and the neshamos come from chachma law. So v'yesod abba nimshachad yesod ziranpin. So yesod abba of chachma is drawn all the way down to yesod zah. Like we brought before, that the Tav Kuf Shana of the Malachim only goes down to Hod, not to Yesod. That's the 5 times 100 is Tav Kuf. That's drawn down from the Tesvav that he brought before, the Chochmah Bina. That's because it's coming from Bina down to Hod, but the Neshamos come from Chochmah Yesod Abba down to Yesod Zah. V'lo k'moshe bina rakad hod ispashtas, and not like bina that only spreads out until hod. V'hayichud nimshach al yidei yisod ziranpin, and the yichud is drawn down until yisod of zah. B'chinas Yosef tzadik elyon, the concept of Yosef, who's the supernal tzadik. Again, because we have this yichud of the malachim is this zivug neshikin of chochmah bina. And the yichud of the neshamos is the zivug ufni that corresponds with zah nukva. So you have the concept of the yesod of zah to lechadesh neshamos for the yichud panimi of ava. So the concept of Yosef tzadik yalyon inyan tosef is miruba, and notice that we're on Daf Tav Kuf Tesvav. So you have the Yosef Tzadik Elyon Hinyan Tosef Miruba Al Ha'ikar Chulu. So Yosef means to add on to something in addition to the main thing, which is the Zivug Tadiri. You have an extra yichud, an extra or. V'zeu b'chinas tzadik shelamayla me'b'chinas yashar regel yishara. And there's the concept of this tzaddik that's higher than the level of the straight leg. Ein beparshas achri daf nentes of Amar Aleph v'od al shal yidei birur nefesh habahami sem b'chinas balei tshuva shelamayla me'b'chinas tzadikim. And further, that through the purification of the animalistic soul, the concept of balei tshuva, right, that the Mehalchim don't have the nefesh habahamis to purify. So through this purification of the nefesh bahamis, this gives the maila of balei tshuva, shelamayla me'b'chinas tzadikim, which is even higher than the concept of tzadikim. And it's through this specifically that we can draw down the higher light. And this is what it says, until your nation passes over Havaya. That the Malachim that have this straight leg, they draw down from the concept of Yud-Kei, which is wisdom and understanding. Aval neshamas Yisrael mamshichim mebechinas anochi misha anochi. But the souls of Israel, they draw down from higher than Havaya. Ad ya'avur amcha Havaya, they pass over Havaya, going higher. They draw down from Anochi, meaning Misha Anochi, the concept of that who I am, the essence. Shalamayl Mishim Havaya, higher than the name Havaya. Zuinyan Mahalchim. And that's the concept of the travelers, that the Neshamas are travelers, Shebechinazu, Hatosef Esor, Nekra B'Shem Hiluch. That this concept of this extra light beyond the Malachim, that's called the travel. Al derech mashakos of orach tzadikim kor noga holech ve'or, and like what it's written, that the path of the righteous is like the it's like the light of noga that can holech, that travels ve'or and gives light. B'mishleisim and daled. So it correlates tzadikim to a light that travels. Vain be'idra rabba dav kuf kaftes amar aleph. Kumo holech v'gadel. Esther test daled, like the concept in Esther that's brought, that of traveling and getting greater, that halicha is connected with the concept of a greater revelation. Ubimatan Torah ksiv kol hashofar holech v'chazek, and by Matan Torah it says as well that the voice of the shofar, the sound of the shofar, was traveled and got stronger. Again, a concept of halicha being a gilui or a greater revelation. Ubimeore oros hey, so if yud kasav halicha kino yel hazivug. Meore writes that traveling is an expression that refers to a union, holech al haderach yesod nukva, like to travel like the path of the yesod of nukva. Beregel mivurachas shu yesod, with a blessed leg, that corresponds with the yesod. Arkan Lashona. The yesod is a kinoi for regel. So it's like a halicha and not just an amida. V'retzoloma she yesod nikra gam ken regel, and that is to say that the yesod is also called a leg. V'kemoshikos b'lkuti Torah sof pasha mishpatim, sof pashas mishpatim binyan mitzvahs b'regalim, like it's brought in Pashas Mishpatim in Likutei Torah concerning the mitzvah of seeing in the Beis Hamikdash during the regel, sheshlosh regalim him bechinas nihi, that the three legs correspond with netzach od yisod. So we see that yisod is also one of the legs. V'nikra regalim, and they're called legs, ki mitzvahs re'iyat tluya b'regalim, because the mitzvah of seeing in the Beis Hamikdash is dependent upon the legs. Because for this same reason, the lame who cannot walk is not, or has a blemished leg, is not obligated because they don't have the concept of the regel. And the concept of the lame person is like Eliyahu Navi said, until when will you be piseach, will you be lame on the two seipim, chulu and so forth, the two ideas, it's like you're lame because you're not completely devoted. Ubishallah daf kuv kav bez amar alef sheker in lo raglaim vemes yesh lo raglaim omeru mehalech. So the concept, according to the Shalah, is that you have this falsehood that cannot stand, but truth has legs to stand on and to go. That I'll give you travelers amongst the standards, that is, truth is able to walk, but a falsehood stands and can't go anywhere, or can't even stand. Vayin zo chelik aleph pashas vayishlach tav kuf ein aleph amud aleph binyan shanachash niktesu raglav. And look what's brought in Zohar vayishlach, that the snake had its legs cut off. Bahar Mazsham. So you see the nachash is the concept of sheket, lashon hara, and so forth. And look what's brought in another place on the concept of teach me the whole Torah on one leg. That's also a concept of being lame. And look what's brought in another place on the concept, and under his legs is in the making of a is in the likeness of a brick. So you have a concept of under his legs. There's another concept of legs. And somebody who can't travel up with his legs, the Yalif Mloshnu Raglaim, that's learned from the language of legs, in the mitzvah of Re'iyah, Kiniska Begamarish, Perek Hamad Chagiga. Hariya Yesod, Nikra Regel. So the Yesod is called the leg, Nikra Regel Mivorachas, and it's called the blessed leg. Kenyan Mashikosav Yivarach Hashem Uschal Ragli, like it says by Yaakov that Hashem has blessed you by my legs, the legs of the tzaddik. So if Pashas Vayetze V'kamushikosav Yivarach Hashem Tzion, like it says that Hashem will bless you from Tzion, which is who Yesod, that Tzion corresponds with Yesod, but usually Yesod Nukfa. And that is because from Yesod you have this concept of the union, to draw down a new light truly, which is not the case with Netzach themselves, without Yesod, that from them alone you do not have an actual birth, and an actual revelation of something new. It's the Amida, it's the standard, it's the standing, it's the constant union that doesn't change. That's why by Malachim it says, and their legs, viragleihem, 2 legs of Netzach and Hod. But to Israel they have three legs, 3 legs of the Chagim, that we draw down the inner union through Yesod. And for this, it makes sense that the holiday are called legs from the regalim, from the language of regel, of leg. That at first glance, what does the leg have to do with Yom Tov? But the reason is that on Yom Tov we draw down a higher union with Tosefes and the extra light that's called traveling. That just like through traveling is through the legs of a person. So to above, this union is through the concept of Netzach Hod Yesod. U'b'me'orei or osreish sif tes kasav raglaim nikranihi. In me'orei or it says that the legs correspond with Netzach Hod Yesod, u'kenegdan gimel regalim, and corresponding with that are the 3 regalim, the 3 holidays. U'lechein nikra gam Yesod regal, and therefore Yesod is also called a leg. Gam ki hu ikar amidasa keneged ekev Ta'atika parsa v'regel, and also because it is the main concept of its standing, corresponding with Yaakov, with the akev, the heel of Atik, which is a parsa v'regel, a heel and a leg, or a palm of the foot and the leg of Atik, that I guess the Yisod is, so to speak, the bottom outstretching of Atik. And that's why that's the main standing, it's, so to speak, the main leg that holds up the concept of Nehi. Av kuf samech aleph gematria regel, and you have Shem Av and the Shem Eya with Yuds is together are gematria regel ki elu hashemos miskalim b'yom tov, because these are the names that are revealed on Yom Tov. And the regel ad kan l'shona, that's called the regel. That's why the Hagiloi of Yom Tov is gematria regel, the Abin Kuf Samech Aleph. Vayayir nesiv kasav ein bekavanas hamoadim besod chayiv adam litaris atzmo beregel. And look what's brought in the kavanos of the holidays, in what it says that in the secret of that a person's obligated to purify themselves on the regel. And also the concept of until the regel is removed from the marketplace. And here you have the first mention of Chanukah here, that it has to do with the regel. And this that the Yair Nesiv is intending in the Kavanos Hamoadim, you can find this in Pri Eitz Chaim, Shayutes Perek Hey, V'Shar Kaf Perek Gimel, V'Zeu Lecha Hashem Agdul V'Chulu. And this is what it says, that to you Hashem is the greatness and so forth. Ad V'Hahod, until the point where it says, and the Hod. Hainu Hechasadim, and that is the five Chasadim, Chinas Shamayim, the concept of the heavens, and then afterwards you have the concept of and all in the heavens and the earth. It's the heavens and the earth together. Yichud Elyon, it's a concept of the union, not just Yisod. Hashem b'chokhma yasod oretz, and that Hashem with his wisdom founds the earth. That the chokhma is connected with the oretz. That you have this concept of the yichud pnimi that's drawn from chokhma with yisod and all the way down to malchus. V'hine derech nekra yisod denukva, and the concept of the path is called the Yisod of Nukva, like he brought before, similarly with the concept of Holech, with the Regel Mivarachas from the Meori Or. Okay, She'ein Yichud Namar. And when there's no union, it says Darchei Tzion Avelos, that the path of Tzion is mourning. Drachim Mevakshim Tafkidon, that the paths are searching for their purpose. And just to mention that it's on the initial law, that the concept of Lecha Hashem Agdula, Agvura, that this is the midos of Nukva. That's why it's in the feminine, Gdula, Agvura, and not Gadol and Gibor. And that's why it says Kichol Bashamayim V'Aretz, because it doesn't say Yisod, because the Nukva doesn't have a Yisod in the same way But at any rate, in this context, it seems that Lecha Hashem Magdula is Ziranpin, Shamayim, and Mikichol is the Yichud, Bashamayim and Aretz. The concept of the Yichud of Yisodus. And here again we're talking about the concept of Darchei Tzion is the concept of Yisod Nukva. Vayin b'me'orei or ostal sif yud daled. V'zeu inyan derech eitz hachayim, and this is the concept of the path of the tree of life. Which I guess is Yisod of the Eitz Chaim, or of Ziranpin, or the path that the Eitz, if the Eitz Chaim is Yisod, is the Zah, so the Derech Eitz Chaim is the Yisod, the Nukva, that it has the union. The Kemoshikasuv, but it doesn't explain exactly how it translates. The Kemoshikasuv Zohar Chelik Beis B'Shalach Dafton Aleph Reish Amud Aleph Man Derech Eitz Chaim Chulo. It says, what is the path of the tree of life? Tahi Matronisa, that's the concept of the feminine aspect. The matron, the king, Kazav B'Pashas Vayechi, Daf Reish Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph, Benyin Lishmor's Derech Eitz HaChaim, Ein Sham B'Mikdash Melech. Look what it says in the path, in the concept of to guard the path of the tree of life. Look in the Perush of Mikdash Melech. Why do you need to guard it? Because it's the concept of Yisod of Nukva, like to guard the Besulim or something. Gana Ula Chosikal and so forth. And with this you can understand what it says. If you go in my path, my derech, if you traverse the concept of Yisod of Nukva, es mishmarti tishmor, and guard my mishmeres, that you guard the concept of Yisod of Nukva. They go together. Darachai telech, mishmarti tishmor, shmor derech eitz hachaim. Vayin b'parshas Vayakel, daf reish tes amud aleph, but it doesn't explain exactly what the shmira is over here. Or maybe it just means that you should have this yichud and not have a pirud. That you should be a bottle and attached. And that's why it says by Yehuda that he leaned towards her in the path. That it's a concept of Yisod and Nukva. It's Tzad Kami Menichul, and then it says that she was righteous from me. That tzedakah, or the concept of the Yisod of Tzaddik was from her, or tzedek and tzedakah, the Yisod of Nukva, and so forth. Al derech Timnasa, and again you have the concept of on the path to Timna. All these references to the concept of derech by the union of Yichud and Tamar. And that's why it says that Hashem is tzaddik in all his paths. So you have the concept of derech. So you have the concept of that Hashem is righteous in all his paths. Again, you have tzaddik and derech, a concept of yichud, of tzaddik and yisod nukva. V'shamru derech Hashem, and to guard the path of Hashem. Again, a concept of shmira and derech, like lishmor derech eretz hachaim, lasot tzedakah chulu, to do tzedakah, just like to make from tzedek tzedakah, or to have the concept of the yichud, like it says by Tamar, sot kami meni, and so forth. It's all these concepts fit together. V'zeu haloch yilech chulu, and that's why it says that he will go, and so forth. He will traverse, nosei meshach hazara, carrying the seeds, And what is Meshech Hazara? Meshech Hazara Hainu Yosef Bechinas Yisod. That's the concept. The seeds is the concept of Yosef, the concept of Yisod. Like in Spad Midrash Rabba Vayigash. I wonder if there's any connection with the concept that Yosef cried in front of his brothers. It's called the drawing out of the seed. Why is that? Because he drew down Yisrael, the seed of Israel, to Mitzrayim, to Egypt. Who in Yeridas Haneshama Beguf, and below it's the concept of drawing down the neshama to the body. Shiyarudu v'nishtalshlu lamata, that they descended and were drawn down below, bebechinas mitzarim u'gevulim, in the concept of boundaries and confinement. But this descent of Yisod into the neshama, it's like the planting in the earth, so it's for the purpose of elevation, to sprout something. That through this you have the concept of, I will make you travelers, and that's why it says that by the sowing of these seeds that he's traveling, haloch, the concept of halicha in Mehalchim. Halicha shein la shiur v'hefsek, yilchu mechayil el chayil, with the traveling that does not have a measure or stopping. He will go from strength to strength, through the concept of crying. What is the crying? It's an awakening of mercies. He will come with singing, carrying his alumos, his sheaths. I guess the tzutzos that he elevated. Or the produce that he's grown by planting it in the ground. The accomplishments of the neshamos coming down into a body. And that's the growth, the sprouting of the plants that he's sown. Just like Shavuos is called the holiday of the cutting of the grain and so forth. Of what was sown. V'ayin b'me'ori oros aleph siv kuf pegimul. And look what's brought me'ori or aluma nikra yisod. That aluma is the concept of yisod. Shebo nikpatzim ha'oros, that the lights gathered there. That's why there are lumos, they're gathered sheaths. Shabonik patzim ha'oros elyonim, that the supernal lights gather there. Like it says that they bowed down to my aluma, meaning to say that they became nichlolin and bottlin and elevated to that level to be included together. And kan lashona of the Morior. According to this, we can explain what does it mean to carrying the sheaths. Like it's brought in the Kudei Torah about when the mountains will falter. When what it says that the covenant of my peace will not falter. I'm not sure what that reference is. With all this, you can understand the concept of traveling between the standings, those standards specifically, because the concept of the standards is also a very high level, that's higher than the concept of the sitters. And that's the concept of how the fiery Mehalchim stand above him, or above the Vav. So that's higher than the yeshiva. And that through this we draw down the concept of Yud K. Like you brought before, that in order to draw down from this level, you have to have the standing specifically, the concept of the regel, without kafitzin or reglaim mechuvanim. Like it says in Zohar Tetzaveh, that you have to stand on your feet. Like the difference between Shmona Esrei and Shema, because of the praise of the supernal world. That to draw down Yud K, it's through the nullification that's higher than the emotions, the concept of, which is the concept of love, Vav. That's the concept of Vav. So you draw down higher than that. You want in Shem Hashem, higher than the Vav of Shem Hashem is the Yud K of Shem Hashem. That the Midos Ava is Shema, is the Vav, and the Yud K is Shmona Esrei. Achim kol zeh in zeh aroch lebechinas hahiluch shemamshich matzmus ein sof. But nonetheless, all of this is incomparable to the concept of traveling, which is drawing down from the essence of the infinite light. Rak shenimshach al yidei Yud K, but only that it's drawn down through Yud K. V'zois halach lefnei havaya lamayla m'shem havaya, and this is what it says: travel in front of havaya, meaning to say lefnei havaya, higher than the name of havaya, higher than the Yud K, and it says he's halach, that's the concept of halicha. And similar to what he brought before, that from that level is the root of drawing down this traveling that we mentioned before, and in the service of Hashem, that even though standing is a concept of nullification, but just how you have two concepts of love and fear, the first kind of love is that the person awakens, and the second is that which is drawn to him from above, a love and a fear. And this level is called give truth to Yaakov. And the letter that starts so tzedakah, and the reward is truth. Similar to what he brought here, you have this concept of sowing seeds connected with the concept of tzedakah and the reward of truth. Then that you have this emes havaya la'olam, the concept of emes from above into Yaakov. Similarly, you can understand the concept of standing and traveling. The two different kinds of avav and yira, one that you do from below and one that comes from above. So you look what it's brought in the Mamer about. If you go in my chukim, that's the concept of halicha as well. And the chukim, that the chok in corresponds with halicha, and maybe the ksiva would be amida. Look, it's brought in Vayeshev Yaakov binyan tov li Torah spicha malfei zahava chasef vayin zor vayichi daf reishut zayin amud aleph binyan liya kesef liya zav. And look what is brought in these Maimorim about the concept of the love that's like gold and love that's like silver. Vayin zor vayichi daf reishut zayin aleph binyan liya kesef liya zav. Look what's brought in Zohar about To me is the silver, and to me is the gold. Umikol ze yuven mashe etzel mitzvahs mila nemer lavram hisalech lefanai. And with all of this, you can understand why by the mitzvah of milah, it says to Avraham, travel in front of me. By the milah, by the yisod, you have the concept of alicha. Because the main concept of revelation of the milah is through yisod. Mila mal yudke, and the concept of mila, the word mila is made out of mal, to reveal, yudke, liyos gilo yudke kanal. Gam kemoshikos b'or panecha yalechun, like it says in the light of your countenance we will travel. Yihalech is the concept again of halicha. Kimashachach mamayin timatze, because that wisdom comes from nothing, from naught. And that Hashem continuously creates every day, constantly. That's drawn only from the concept of the hairs, which is the concept of the external. And therefore this concept of the constant creation is still called standing. That's the Chochma Ma'in Timatzeh. Mechadish b'chol yom tamid. Aval be'or panecha, but in the light of your countenance, b'chinas panim, panoi misayros, the concept of the countenance, meaning that which is devoid of hairs, like tikkun emes, like you brought before, the concept of emes, havai la'olam, and the titin emes li'akov. It's this concept of the higher revelation of halicha, bor panecha, yihalechun. Chachma sadim tayir panav, the concept of chachma, of a person will shine his countenance. Atzmius chachma stima, the concept of the essence of this hidden wisdom, the pnimius of chachma, and not just the concept of the yichud chitzoni. Alkin mebechina zu nimshach liyos yihalechun. Therefore, from this level, you have the concept of traveling. Look what's brought later, I guess, with the concept of search for my countenance, or maybe it was before. It said, and search for my countenance, it's the concept of this higher level. Kitzer, Omdim, the concept of standing, Bittul Shalamayla Ma'ava, is a concept of nullification beyond love, Kimo. Tefillah me'umad, like the concept of this standing Shmona Esrei v'ragleim regli shara, and their legs are a straight leg, mamshich mebechinas yudke, that draws down from the yudke chachma bina b'taf kuf into the taf kuf. Hechasadim, which corresponds with the 5 kindnesses, taf kuf shana, the 500 years to traverse the ragleihem, taf kuf tesvav shana liyos konin shamayim bisfuna, to have this, to establish the heavens, the distance of the heavens with bina, that's the level it comes from. Bina ad hodis pashtas, and bina spreads out till hod, which is the 5 levels. Heichal etzem hashamayim, and the concept of the heichal of etzem hashamayim, I guess, which is Tiferes, and I guess that's also the heichal in Kriyashma that you say kadosh kadosh kadosh. That Tiferes goes up to chachma. Vein lav hem kafitzin yichud bia, and they don't have these joints in their legs, which is the concept of the union of the 3 worlds of B'yitz, your Nasiya together, which are represented by the different parts of the legs. Yishara giloi lamata b'ziranpin k'mo b'ava v'ima. And what does it mean that their legs are straight? Which it corresponds with a revelation downwards and from into Zah, just like in Abba and Ima. Omdi mima levav. What does it mean? Omdi mima lo is standing higher than the vav. That's from Chachma being above the midos. V'im kol zeh. But nonetheless, omdim yichud chitzoni ustaba v'ima. They're standing. It's still standing. A external union of Abba and Ima, mechadish b'tuva chulu, which is this constant creation in His goodness. Ach yichud panimi, but the inner union, neshamos chadashos, is new neshamos, nikra holich, for Ohr is the concept of to travel and give new light. And that's the three legs of Netzachod Yisod. And that's why the mitzvah of seeing in the Beis Hamikdash is dependent upon somebody who can go up with his legs, because in order to be a traveler, and the traveling in the path. And the path is the Yisod Nukva, is the concept of the path of the tree of life. And the concept of traveling, of walking and carrying the seed, the Yisod Yosef, to have the Zurei Tzedakos Masmiach Yeshuos kind of thing. V'zoi salach lefanai. And that's travel in front of me, Gabe Mila, that it says by the Mila, Yisod, Shebebechinazu, Ikra Yiluchta, which is the concept of Yisod, that in this aspect is the main concept of travel, Yichud Pnimi, B'or Panecha Yalechun, and in the light of your countenance we will travel. That the traveling draws down from the level of the light of your countenance, the Pnimis, Chochma Stima.